good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Radio Works World. I'm your host tonight, and I want to help you stand out and talk at TEDx. So, having been thrown straight into the deep end this evening, I'm looking forward to hearing from you all. Please interact as much as possible on the YouTube video. If you hear things you like, dislike, whatever, it's all good. It's all good feedback, and so to speak. So my name's Alex. Mary, I'm the founder of a TEDx event in Southwest London called TEDx Clapham. We've been going for a couple of years, and I'm also a speaker coach. I help turn experts into industry leaders through public speaking. And I thought that today would be a really good opportunity to let you guys know perhaps how you could be standing on the TEDx stage in 2017. So for those of you who don't know, I always think it's good to start off perhaps giving a little bit of a background to TED and TEDx and kind of what the differences are between the two things. TED stands for Technology, Entertainment and Design. And you'll, I'm sure, have seen lots of talks on YouTube or Facebook or throughout social media with these big 3 red letters behind lots of speakers and delivering stuff on all sorts of different subjects. But the trick is the talk has got to be between 3 and 18 minutes. And the very, very top end within TED, you have some of the world's greatest thought leaders sharing their ideas, and the talks get filmed, put onto YouTube for everybody to see absolutely free of charge. Bill Gates has done a talk. Bill Clinton, lots, you know, there are some, you know, Brené Brown, authors, entrepreneurs, artists, directors, designers, architects. It doesn't matter what your background's been, but if you've got an idea that's worth sharing, TED or TEDx is perhaps a platform for you. Now, TEDx actually got founded it's kind of like a subcategory of, or a sub-company within TED.com. And the whole purpose of TEDx was to bring the community to experience the TED conference that happens. That's very, very exclusive and very, very expensive to attend. So now there are community-run events across the world, and there are some really cool events in all sorts of places. And go to TED.com to find out a little bit more about perhaps an event near you that you might want to go and watch. But the reason why I wanted to talk to you today was because I actually think, having run 2 TEDx events and running my 3rd halfway through next year in 2017, I think there are a lot of people out there who've got amazing messages to share, but perhaps don't think they're capable of speaking on a major stage like the TEDx stage. And I guess the real purpose behind my I mean, what even is this? My radio show, my YouTube show today is to let people know perhaps that actually they probably do have a message that's good enough if it's conveyed in the right way. Now, to speak at the big TED event, maybe 1 in 250 people will get selected if you apply to speak at something like that. So your odds aren't particularly great. Whereas if you choose to speak at a TEDx event, you've got a 1 in 5 chance. So, you know, apply to 5 TEDx events, and there's a strong chance that you could well be speaking at one of the events that's near you. Now, I want to clear a few things up first. Whenever I speak to anybody, and I kind of let them know what I do, and they're just like, TEDx, you work with TEDx, that's absolutely awesome. I always feel so inspired and motivated whenever I watch their talks. I even hear about stories. I have people coming to me and saying they watch a TEDx talk or a TED talk every single day to kind of get them in the mood and get them pumped and all of this stuff. And I think that for people who are looking to perhaps become public speakers and speak on that kind of stage, that can be quite daunting, because they might be thinking, you know what, I'm not that motivational. I don't know whether my story is as inspiring as it needs to be on a stage like that. And one of the myths that I think I'd like to clear up over anything else is that inspiration and motivation are a paradox. They aren't, when an audience watches something they feel inspired by, I'd say that there is a 99.9% chance that actually they're not feeling inspired and motivated because of the speaker and their story, but actually because they're mistaking that feeling for learning something brand new. So if you've got something that you can teach the world, then you've got nothing to lose by going to apply to a TEDx event near you to see whether you can get selected. So have a think about that. A great piece of advice that I give anybody who's looking to speak on that kind of level is Chris Anderson's got a book. In fact, let me get it. I'm going to grab it. So this book right here, hopefully you can all see it. This is a book that's done by the director, the CEO of TED. And he talks about some of the key rules you need to be a good public speaker in general, but also to speak at an event like this. One of the things he says is to have an idea worth sharing, you need to be able to change the way people see your world. And if you're able to do that, you're going to have a really, really positive and profound effect on the people that you're speaking to. So think about what it is that you can give the world. This isn't about getting up on the TED stage because there are millions and millions of subscribers who are going to watch you, and it's going to boost your brand and give you new business and just make you look really good, and you can tick off an item on your bucket list. Actually, for me as a TEDx organizer, and I speak to lots of people who like to speak at this event, the people that stand out for me the most are the people who have an idea that is going to drastically help lots and lots of people. They're looking to start a movement with what they're doing. I mean, let's face it, right? We've all been to conferences, and there's been one or two standout speakers maximum from a day of 10, 12, 13 speakers. And essentially, as organizers, we're looking for the one or two that we remember months and months afterwards. And they're the people who are looking to create a legacy with their talk and to perhaps build up a movement through the words they're sharing and get other people on board with what it is that they're. For me, public speaking isn't about standing on stage and loving the sound of your own voice. Actually, public speaking is about sharing meaningful ideas that drive movements. So if you want to become an industry leader, the best thing you can do, and the best bit of advice I can give you, is to stand in front of your peers and talk. That way the audience sees your world, and you can show them how they can be part of it. And that, by very definition, if you do it properly, it will help you create some change. And I've experienced firsthand. So how I've kind of got to where I am, I used to co-run a charity fundraising company back in 5 or 6 years ago, and we created a company that raised over £12 million for charity, and we grew our company to 200 people. Public speaking, we do our talks across the UK at some of the world's best universities. It was an amazing experience, but really what it showed me is the power of being able to convey a message in person. There's nowhere to hide, and when you're on stage, you only get one chance, which really helps you to boost your credibility. So bear that in mind when you're looking to perhaps speak. The second thing that an organizer might be looking for, as opposed to just part one being a really good idea that can change the way people see the world, part two is some speaking experience. If you think you're going to just turn up on the day and deliver the talk of your life, you've got another thing coming, I'm afraid. When I work with clients one-to-one, we're preparing this 3 to 18 minute speech for between 3 and 6 months. I'd say half of that time is spent on shaping the message, and then the second half is on the delivery of that message, putting them into all sorts of different places, and so that they're doing it. So again, if you'd like, think this time next year, if you'd like to have your place booked as a TEDx speaker at an event that's coming up, maybe a great thing to do would be to perhaps build a public speaking portfolio for yourself, so that you can give yourself confidence that your idea is good enough, but also give the organizers who might accept you confidence that you're an amazing speaker and you're going to do their conference justice. The third thing I'd kind of like to say is that I've noticed, so this weekend, TED have had a woman-focused conference. They have TED Women, and there are lots of TEDx women events that have been happening over the course of the last few days. So one of the experiences that I guess I've seen over the course of in fact, running both TEDx events, is I found it really hard to find fantastic female speakers. Now, I don't believe that's because they don't exist. Quite the opposite. I think that there are a lot of girls out there who perhaps don't feel they have the confidence to share an amazing message. And I've seen so many female speakers that have proved that mindset wrong. So one of the things that I'm focusing on at the moment is I'm trying to get more girls feeling confident and ladies feeling confident that they can deliver an incredible message online, because I think it's super, super important that they do that. All of my events are 50-50 male-female split, but I find it much, much harder to find female speakers. I have to say to my team, who are bringing me all sorts of speaker suggestions, I don't want to speak to any more guys anymore. Go and find me some women. So I think guys are quite happy to push themselves out there and get themselves recognized and throw their name out. Perhaps girls are a little bit more cautious over that. And actually, I think that should change, because quite often you've got in fact, in most cases, I'd say you've got a more worthwhile message to share. And it's sometimes some of the very one of the most successful speakers of all time, TEDx or TED speakers, is a lady called Brené Brown, author, and she talks about vulnerability. It has changed how so many people see vulnerability. It's a huge buzzword at the moment, and it's absolutely amazing. So be proud of your message. Whether you're a boy or a girl, it's important to be proud of your message. But it would be great to see loads of you getting out there. Now, for anyone who's based in London, I'm actually going to be running an event on Wednesday in South Bank, teaching people exactly what they need to do to get a TEDx talk. I also run, I'm also going to be launching an online course that's going to be starting next year. Look for anybody who's aiming to speak on the TEDx stage or speak on a big stage of some sort, a world-renowned stage, to get their message shared and spread out. So if you're interested, I don't think we've got many tickets left, but we have got a few tickets. They're £10, or the early bird ones are if they haven't sold out already. Otherwise, it's £15. You get a free beer. You get to meet me directly, which, incentive enough, right? And then finally, I'll be teaching you guys exactly what you need to do to get yourself on the TED stage. It would be great to see some of you there. It would be great to hear what things sort of stood out from what I've been saying to you over the last few minutes. So feel free to drop a line in the comments box, and I'll aim to respond to those as soon as possible. But hopefully you enjoyed it, and see you very soon, hopefully.